For my final budget plan, I decided to use the combination budget model. I feel like it gives a lot of avenues for programs to afford certain things, and it also gives the athletes a chance to put some hard work in to earn some of the things that they want. So I think the combination budget best fit me and what I'm used to, so that's what I went with. So out of the $100,000 budget we had, I went ahead and took out the $32,000 for official pay, and then what I had left over was $68,000 to budget over. So then I decided that I wanted to do program uniforms, and so I put away $15,000 just for uniforms for programs, and I picked 6 different programs to earn their uniforms this year. So that was girls soccer, volleyball, boys volleyball, cheer, boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling. So that was 6 programs that got uniforms, and I still had about $1,500 left over. Then when I was prioritizing, I went ahead and did the uniforms first, obviously, and then I went through things that were priorities for a program, such as a starter pack for track, balls, bats, helmets, pads, just other items all the items that a program would need to play their sport. So that's what I went with first, and then I looked at major purchases. So each program had one big purchase in there, and if they got uniforms, obviously that would be part of their big purchase. But if I had anything left over, I could assist them in those needs. But the larger purchases, such as goals, outdoor PA system, stunt mats for the cheer, AccuSpike, some more shoulder pads, anything that was one of the bigger purchases. I do want to say that I feel like every year programs should get new balls as well, so that should be part of a set aside budget, which it could take some of what's left over from the uniforms to put towards that anyway. And then down here I kind of just overviewed all the budgets. So since I had $68,000 to budget between 14 programs, I divided that equally, except football I gave $6,000 to budget, and the rest of the programs got $36, $15.38 to budget. How I got that number, I just divided it by 13 and I just made it equal across the board. But football needs to have a little bit more money because they have more athletes, more equipment. It's just a bigger program in general, so they need a little bit more to work with, and I felt that was very fair. So after I'd budgeted through all of the different programs, which I will show that in just a moment, I came up with what they spent out of their total budget, and I got what was left over from each of them. Even though I had about 3 programs that went over, I still ended up with about $5,500 left out of the entire budget that I had for all the programs, so that's $68,000. Which also, if you subtract the $15,000 that I put away for uniforms, that makes it about 53. So 53 to budget. So now I would like to show you all the different budgets that I went with. Again, the purchases that I decided on were things that the program needs, not like an extra want. Also, the singlets for the track, they didn't get uniforms that year, so obviously that would not be one of the purchases that we're going to reach out for. With volleyball, I had boys and girls, and then I had the purchases on both and the cuts on both. I do want to mention, now that I'm looking at half zips and shorts and all the travel bags, those were the things that I decided not to purchase for a program. So if it came to team shirts, if it came to travel items such as pants, jackets, and bags, like I mentioned, I feel like that's something the team should fundraise for, or they should ask the booster club for some assistance in purchasing items like that. this is just because maybe some students want their names on the back or their names embroidered on the bag, excuse me. So that would make things a lot easier for them to get exactly what they want rather than passing down a gym bag from athlete to athlete. Just doesn't sound great to me. I also feel that fundraising for extras gives culture to the athletic programs and whatnot. It gets you out there in the community, and it gets the community involved with you, and everything just turns on, together. Everyone's working together to get what athletes need and want for their programs. All right, so this is the basketballs, coming back to the programs themselves. Again, purchases and cuts. Purchases are high, cuts are low. I also added the officials for every game on every single sheet. Here is soccer. So here's the budget I had for the boys soccer team. That's what I used, and that's what was left over. I did that with every single one of these as well. If you can tell, I color coded them. This is football. That's their budget, and we had about $200 left over there. Lacrosse, there wasn't any boys lacrosse in our forum, so I did not include that, but the girls was included. Here's cheer, and then baseball, softball, and finally wrestling. Okay, so back to the very first athletic budget sheet. What I had left over, that is quite a bit of money. So what I was planning to do with that is maybe if we needed to resurface the gym floors or repaint something, or maybe even get a new field or certain items like that to keep things up to date and looking nice. I think we could use that money for that, as well as it could help pay for the workers for the games, so the ticket takers and whatnot. But I just thought it would be nice to have a good sized nest egg in case an emergency does happen, or we have to buy last minute jerseys for somebody for an entire program for whatever reason, or I don't know. It's just good to have a backup plan and a little bit money left over. So that was just kind of like my parachute, if you will, to help us when things might go bad or if they won't, and we can use it for things that require maintenance. That is